So we've officially lost power at the house. I mean, the trees are going insane, 80-mile-an-hour winds. They're saying that it's just going to be a brief one, but it has, I can't even imagine what kind of damage there's going to be out there. Hi everyone, this is Tina with Dirt Therapy, and we just had a really bad storm come through, 80-mile-an-hour winds, and it has definitely done some damage. So there's going to be a lot of cleanup going on. The biggest amount of cleanup is our ash tree. It broke up there on a very large branch. It's in the street, and this is a pretty main street, so I don't know if the city's going to help us out with this one or not. It's pretty bad. We also had some damage from our locust tree. There's a lot of branches down. I mean, the storm is past us, so you'll hear some thunder and maybe see some lightning, but it is since past us. Our power, we have no power. Another branch came down in some of my garden areas here. So I've got this one here, and it took my clematis lattice right there. So we're gonna have to clean that up. And then this one fell right by our front door. We've also got some damage that's kind of as we go through. There's more branches throughout. These are minor. Another place I'm always concerned about. This is just minimal damage. I am not even worried about it. The ash tree to me is very heartbreaking, and I know that all my plants will survive this. You know, they're flopped over for sure, hit with some very strong winds. My heart is sad for sure, but plants are so resilient. They're going to be fine. So we walk through Garden Avenue. Our neighbors, and I have mentioned it before, that our neighbors have this very large tree, and there is dead branches all over it. And I've talked to my neighbor about getting it taken care of, and we haven't resolved everything yet. But this just happened when the storms came through. There is a lot of damage, tree, like just all over in this area here. And then the worst part is this branch up here, and it landed on our mulberry stump, but that one is a substantial branch that we're going to have taken care of. And then this one here. Now some of these I should be able to handle on my own, but that big one I can't, and the one that's on the ash tree I can't either. And you can see we haven't even recovered from the last storm we had, where we had golf ball size hail to softball size, and we had our roof needs to get replaced, and so does our siding on the west side of our house. Thankfully, our trees back here, they're newer. Our autumn blaze maple and the serviceberry tree is good, and then the dogwood is good. I'm pretty happy with that. No damage to the veggie garden area, and we're good there. I don't think the veggie garden could get any more damaged anyway than the bugs and the groundhog messing it up. This is my mint patch. It is all flattened. I did have enough time to get outside and take down all of the umbrellas, because I knew that they would go flying if I didn't take them down. Now this side of the house is our work in progress. We don't have anything really going on in this area because we're getting new siding put in, and then we also have to get this retaining wall replaced. So we don't have a lot to put into that side yard right now until those things are resolved. But now we are back to the beginning. Some of our other neighbors didn't fare that well either. I think ours is by far one of the worst ones, but our neighbors down the hill, a few houses down, they got some damage right in that area as well. Trees come down. So, well, now you can see that our berm project here in the front yard is not going to be happening this weekend. We've got to take care of the ash tree and get that all squared away before we can start working on this other area. So here's a little bit better now that the clouds have dissipated some and we have some sunlight left in the day, but I couldn't even walk out the front door. There was branches everywhere. You'll see that the branches that are here in the front, and all of those branches were the ones that were right by the front door and over here. We had a branch that hit the clematis, and as you can see, it is sloping because when the branch hit it, it cracked it. So my husband has to create a new lattice for me. We can't even walk here. I mean, if you look, it looks like a tornado came through. I mean, it was that windy and rain that, and then just over the river from us, because we are in Bellevue, Nebraska. We sit up on the right up against the Missouri River. If you were to go over to the other side of the river, it would be Council Bluffs. Well, Council Bluffs, Iowa did have a tornado touchdown there. My husband is cutting branches right now, trying to get some of this out of the road because it is 6 feet into the street, and we know that we're going to lose daylight here pretty soon. Nobody has power on our street. It's probably going to be days before we get any power. Our whole town, they say Bellevue is about 60,000 people, and they're saying that Bellevue, pretty much whole population is without power. So it isn't pretty surprising that we're without. We're also without cell coverage. We can text and we can talk to our families, but we cannot search the internet or anything because the cell towers are down as well. Or at least the cell tower that handles when you're not on your own Wi-Fi. But I started making piles of sticks. I figure it's going to be a lot easier to just bring the yard waste can over here in the morning and be able to go pile to pile. My husband is going to be chopping the pieces down into further pieces, and then I can come in with my pruners and also help him knock this rest of this out tomorrow. This is the width of the branch that came down from the 80-mile-an-hour winds, and it came down right in that section. Then we have one that's split right underneath it that we're gonna have to get cut, but right now we're just working on getting it out of the street and into the yard so nobody gets hurt. So this is where we are at. And then we have more piles back there. Well, we got a lot done. I know it doesn't look like it, but we really did. It is off the street, so now we don't have to worry about traffic coming down the hill and getting in an accident because of it. So it's all been pushed into our yard. We've still got a lot of work to do tomorrow. However, it is starting to get dark and we're losing daylight soon. So we're gonna have to wait and pick this up tomorrow. So today's the next day, and we got a lot of the yard cleared out. We cut it down into small pieces, the pieces that we could, and we still have some left over, which I am going to do tomorrow. I had to go through all of my flower beds, this one and the one with the fountain. But our main focus is going to be this tomorrow. So my husband and my son are going to be working on getting all of this loaded in the truck and taking it to our free dump site. So when our town has storms that come through and they have any type of branch damage, they open up our city brush dump. They open it up for free, but they do it for a very limited time. So they only are doing it until Sunday. We've got to take action now, or else it's going to be a lot harder and we have to pay for it. And you know, we're already have a tree company come in, they have to cut this branch out of the ash tree that fell. I showed you last night kind of really what the deal is, but this branch right here that's hanging down, it split, so we need to have that removed, and my husband just can't get enough pull on it to be able to do that. We still have a lot of little sticks, but that is something that I will be handling, picking up little sticks and little brush. I'm just making big piles, so that way I can cut them up into smaller pieces and put them in our yard waste can. We don't really have a place that we can just put this stuff and burn it. It's not that simple. We do have a fire pit in the backyard, but we have plenty of wood, so we can't even justify having any of this wood in the backyard. And plus we have a couple branches in the backyard that we're also going to be taking care of, and those ones could always feed our fire. So we've made some progress. We still do not have power. We've been without power since yesterday at 5 p.m. It is now 7 p.m. the following day. Since we didn't have power, I couldn't work my full-time job today. The flowers have really bounced back, so I am very thankful that they, handled this wind and are still looking wonderful. I mean, the hibiscus here is a little bit droopy, but neighbors have a generator and they have it running, so they have power on in their house. But I have to show you guys, I am so excited. Look at the hydrangeas. These are a limelight hydrangea, and I've got a couple in Garden Avenue space. And my goodness, guys, they are huge. Staying upright, 95-mile-an-hour winds came through. That is historic here in our area. We have never experienced that kind of wind come through our home. And really the whole city is just trying to handle this the best they can. Look, they are just wonderful. And as you can see, we had a branch come down. I just noticed that. The flowers they're so resilient. It makes me so happy because through all of the things that we've had happen this year, it makes me feel good that the flowers are resilient just like we are. But there'll be more updates on tomorrow's cleanup. But in the meantime, you can just enjoy the flowers. Everyone, new day. It is the next day. We decided to hire it out. It was just going to be too much for us to take on ourselves with the amount of limbs that we had that came down from the tree. And there's a lot of people out right now working on getting tree cleanup done for people. They've gotten quite a bit done. I mean, if you look at the last portion of the videos last night, you'll see that we had quite a bit filled, and you can finally start seeing our area where we mapped out for the berm. So last week we came in and we were getting things ready for the berm. We were going to work on it this weekend, but then this storm came through. I've got a couple extra piles, but that is manageable. That I can get in our little trash can that is for our yard waste. So it's coming along really nice. Now we just need our power back on. It's been almost 2 full days of no power. Had to clean out the refrigerator, and it's pretty warm in the house. Gonna get to 97 degrees today, 97 tomorrow, and right around the same for Sunday. So we're sitting at Friday right now. The storm happened on Wednesday evening. So we've still got a long way to go, and hoping that power comes on today. I was able to get the whole area cleaned off with all of the leaves and sticks and debris, everything from the storm. We still have to fix the lattice. I think it is probably cracked at the bottom. We're not going to be able to save my lattice with my clematis on it, so we're going to just have to get crafty and take off, maybe shear one side of it, and then try to kind of like save the rest of it from the lattice and put up a new one. Right now, we do not know exactly what we're going to do yet, but we'll figure something out without hurting my plant. But everything else is looking pretty good. Power has been restored, thank goodness. All that's really left is just some miscellaneous debris here, which is really nice. I just have a couple piles of it. I have one pile over there, kind of in the middle, and then I have this pile that I'm standing next to. But other than that, everything is looking really good. I just found a few branches stuck inside my obelisk here, and I see a big one here. So they're hiding everywhere. It's going to take time to really notice where all of the sticks are that blew from this storm. It was a really bad one. I can just tell you guys now, it was unlike anything we've ever seen before. They say it was equivalent to a Category 2 hurricane, if that tells you anything. Like a hurricane in the middle of the country with no water base except a river. So you can only imagine what kind of strength this had. It was 95-mile-an-hour winds. There are still people days later without power. My mom happens to be one of them, so she was hanging out with me all day today. It's part of the reason why I haven't been able to finish the 2 piles of debris, which I am going to finish right now. It is 8 o'clock p.m. and it is still 90 degrees outside. So we've been in heat advisories through all of this at 97 degrees. And my mom is going to try to bear it at home. So fingers crossed she gets home and she has some power. That would be really lovely. But yeah, it's definitely put some strain on some of the flowers. But some of them have done amazing. The hydrangeas, they are just crazy. I want to take you back into the backyard so you can see some other things that are just doing great. The Bobo hydrangea, upright, no problems. But this area has a little bit more, had a lot of protection. So this area here had, because the wind was coming from the west, and the west, it moves as you can for the camera. We're looking south and the house is west and the fountain is on the east. So if you can kind of tell, but the winds were coming from the west. So this area did get some, but not a lot. I mean, some, like for example, here we have a lot of leaves that came down, but the tomato is just slightly, well, not slightly, it is pretty much bowed. I just need to restake it again, but it's still holding up really well. It still has tomatoes and it's not broken, so I guess that is a positive note. But really, the garden's looking really good still. It still has a lot of color in the pollinators, and I just think it's doing wonderful. I do need to come out here and weed, but I haven't been able to. And I really need to prune some things back. I need to take down all of this coreopsis, and I really need to shore back all of the nepeta here and all the way through this whole bed, because this whole bed has salvia and nepeta, and I just need to kind of really give it a good clean, because that part down there is pretty ugly. Other than that, everything is doing pretty good. I am very happy with it. I got more of the hibiscus trying to bloom here. It did bow a little bit. Well, and here's why. I was wondering why it was draping down so far. Another stick. So this is like what we're experiencing the whole time, and I mean, they're hidden. It's hard to tell where those sticks fell. we are recovering. Things are getting back to normal. I need to come in and restake up the roses. But the hydrangeas and all of it held up beautifully. So I am going to call it on this one. We still have some other cleanup to do, but I'm not going to take you along with that one. But you did get to see how much devastation we had. There are other people who had it much worse than us. I'm just happy that my family is safe and that anything that happened, you know, replacing freezer foods and refrigerator foods, having trees cut down and hauled away branches, all of that stuff is nothing if you don't have your family. So thank you everybody, and we'll see you next time. Have a great garden day.